Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabbihi ajmain. Yang saya hormati pengerusi majlis berharis, yang saya hormati Zul Fakta selaku penganjur program pada malam ini. Tuan Muhas kita sebenarnya saudara tiru. Ada adik ya, adik abang. Adiknya Zul Haris ni. Saya cerita saudara tiru ni saya jumpa minggu lepas pulang daripada Australia semata-mata untuk bersama melakarkan perubahan di Malaysia. Jadi setelah tergabung dia kata I can sing as well as speak because I was lecturer. So pada tuan-tuan dan puan, penceramah pertama tertiru. Itulah orangnya. Saudara Arinian selaku naib Bersabang Keadilan, Kak Fiza ketua Muslim Nafas yang speaking pada ni. Pak Pantai, Pak Ben, Pak Si Pahang, kalau nak tahu nak tanding, nak belajar dari Si Pahang. Panggang mereka keluar, ubutan mereka keluar. Si Pahang ni, aduh, kalau dia bertahan tu kira Iron Man lah. Ada Iron Woman ya, di Si Pahang. Saudara saya mau rush tadi Datuk Andika Srinivasan, yang sekali lagi saya nak ulang tawaran beliau. Beliau sanggup berucap ya untuk program BN, UMNO. Segera dijemput lah, tak ada masalah. Saudara Janagi tadi mencerahkan masalah khusus bagi Malaysia di Malaysia ya. Dan hadirin hadirat, tuan-tuan puan-puan, saudara-saudari Billy, Waalaikum, Assalamualaikum, Taja Hau, Taja Mangcang Hau ya, dan tentunya terima kasih kerana hadir. Saya tahu hari ini tentunya kira salah satu ceramah pertama kita bersama Datuk Andika Srinivasan, pengurusi bersama bersih, dan juga Tan Sri Samad, Pak Samad ya, yang dikasihi, yang hadir semata-mata sebagai permulaan sebelum pilihan raya. Saya mohon maaf ya kepada semua kerana kalau ikut perancangan asal saya nak juga TV3 berlintas langsung. Tapi saya pun tak pasti kerana di satu sudut Baik Siatin kata dapat 10 minit rakaman. Di satu sudut lain SPR kata mungkin diulangi. Tapi tak bolehlah kita menandingi ya, 2 jam rakaman langsung yang diberikan kepada Barisan Nasional. Itulah nasib. Jadi saya terima kasih kerana sudi hadir, sudi menunggu dan sudi duduk di atas jalan raya. Inilah pada saya semangat dan artisanal pengorbanan rakyat Malaysia. Jadi hadirin hadirat, saya juga hari ini nak tunjukkan keadaan saya tu. Ini dapat secara percuma kerana hari ini kita laksanakan lawatan kita. Sebenarnya ada sambutan Hari Baisakhi, ada juga sambutan kejap ya. Ini dia Putana Bau. Kita pergi setiap tahun untuk bersama dengan masyarakat di Whitfield, khususnya bagi menandakan sambutan Hari Tahun Baru bagi Tamil, New Year. Jadi pada saya itulah ya, betapa istimewanya Malaysia. That has been such a wonderful experience for me. It's been so colourful, it's been so diverse. Dan saya nak sebutkan satu kenyataan pertama sebelum saya mulakan ceramah pada malam ini yang mula-mula disebut oleh Tariq Ramadan, seorang Islamic scholar, Western Islamic scholar, di mana beliau menyatakan multiculturalism is a fact. There is no going for it or against it. Jadi pada kita semua hari ini, lihat kiri kanan depan belakang. Inilah wajah Malaysia. Now this is the face of the future. Dan kerana itu apa pun yang kita lakukan, kita harus faham permulaan premis ini. Now I like to always look back at the Malaysian history, Rusulatus Salatin, sejarah Melayu, karya Tun Sri Lanang. Ramai tak tahu kerana TV3, Utusan Malaysia semua tak cerita kepada kita bahawa ada satu perbualan antara Demang Lebar Daun mewakili raja-raja dan Sangsa Purba mewakili rakyat terbanyak. Mereka meletakkan kontrak dalam sejarah Melayu itu, di mana ya, penghormatan, ketaatan kepada raja itu berpandukan kepada usaha semangat kesultanan untuk mempertahankan maruah rakyat. So when you talk about maruah, bercakap tentang bagaimana kita ini sampaikan sejarah Melayu itu, sesuatu yang kita tak belajar, kita tak dengar dalam persekolahan, zaman persekolahan. You see, well, it is the most valuable thing that you can have. Respect one another, honor, dignity. And that's why for me, even now, as we speak, yes, it's been only one term, but I feel in this campaigning period, there's some degree. Dignity is lacking. You talk about us, we had to go through so many challenges just to organize the program today. Ada petugas kita diugut dengan parang hari ini. Jadi saya faham. Kita dah ambil gambar, kita hantar pada pihak polis tentang orang yang membuat ugutan. Bukan kali pertama. Nak cakap pasal permit, hai, tengok sajalah muka-muka lawan saya di atas billboard di seluruh lembah pantai ini. Tidak ada nombor siri, maksudnya tak ada permit. Tapi kalau kita buat, tak sampai boleh bercakap permit saja dah diturunkan dengan serta-merta. Jadi pada saya nak berlawan boleh, lawan politik boleh. Saya nak bagi mesej pada ahli-ahli UMNO dan juga pimpinan Barisan Nasional. You must fight, you must win, or you can lose. But with dignity. Merdeka. Dan saya hargai kemerdekaan Malaysia itu, kami juga hargai. Tidak ada siapa dalam Pakatan Rakyat yang mempersoalkan integriti, yang tidak patriotik kepada Malaysia. Tapi kita hanya minta apa? Itu padang yang sama rata. Ya, padang yang sama rata. Dan saya fikir warga Kuala Lumpur ini merupakan mereka yang dinafikan padang yang sama rata. Bermula dengan kekalahan Perikatan akhir 60-an. Mereka kalah, tak dapat menang majoriti kursi-kursi di Selangor, di bawah Staf Selangor. No longer. Jadi ketika itu yang menang 14 daripada 28 kursi. Maka dipisahkan. Jadi dipisahkan Kuala Lumpur, jadilah di bawah wilayah persekutuan. Hilanglah Datuk Bandar yang dipilih, termasuk ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri bagi kerajaan negeri yang seharusnya dinikmati oleh warga Kuala Lumpur. You should enjoy state government. You have 2+ billion ringgit every year. You have no idea how this is being spent, or rather misspent. So you see, ITIS tak jalan, tak apalah. Kita single. Hilang 300 juta, no problem. No problem, because these things will not be communicated through the media. So I'm telling you, especially in Kuala Lumpur, inilah permulaan reformasi, inilah permulaan gerakan rakyat. Kalau bagi tingkat keadilan, bagi keadilan rakyat, 4 April 2013 berdirilah kami selama 14 tahun di atas bumi Malaysia. So 14 years, this is my party, my first ever political party. And of course, I hope it will be my last, because it is important. Why we joined this party? All the leaders, the first-time members of Keadilan, we joined it because we believe in multiracial Malaysia. We believe that multiracial politics must be the politics that leads us forward. It is sickening, really. It is sickening, sudahlah kita menghadapi pelbagai cabaran. Ya, tak boleh berkempen, tak dapat permit. Di BKL tu, bukan saja 2 juta ringgit dinafikan, tetapi Dewan, can you imagine how difficult it was just to win Lembah Pantai? I mean, I know some of you here, you did think that Sri Shahrizad was, gorgeous. I know. At that time there was no Cow Kondo project. No such thing. There was no scandal. She was, I think, one of the most popular Barisan Nasional candidates. But imagine surmounting all those challenges. I tell you, surmounting all those challenges to win. And only to find that you are denied the 2 million ringgit allocation, and you are going to face yet another backdoor minister this coming elections. But tapi pada saya itulah yang menyatakan, yang menjelaskan bahawa 2008, that is only the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not saying because we need to win. I'm telling you, when I was asked this question by ABC and of course Tempo later on, what will happen to Pakatan Rakyat if you lose the federal government? You lose the 13th general elections. I said, of course, we will have to continue, persevere. But what's important is, we Malaysians, my 2 kids, Safia and Harith, would have lost their chance to choose for change, to ensure that an entity, a coalition, implements the much needed political and economic reforms in this country. Kita bercakap tentang bagaimana peluang kita kali ini. Peluang kita dalam pilihan raya ini untuk memastikan rakyat ini akan memaksa kerajaan, termasuk Pakatan Rakyat, untuk menunaikan janji-janji kami. Ini, this is your government, this is your election. Jadi, saya selalu ingat bila masa kita dalam keadaan kadang-kadang saya terkejut kerana kemungkinan kemenangan itu begitu hampir. Kami dulu 2004 we were left with one seat in Perkhidmatan Pauh, and Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, there was no light at the end of the tunnel because there was no guarantee you would be released from prison. You know, I always remind myself, no matter what, look back at those times, those difficult, trying times. And because of this, it makes you realize and appreciate the fact that the rakyat is with you, appreciate that you've been given this chance. And I will say this, because Siva said this elections predominantly decided by the Chinese. I will say in 1999, we had predominantly Malay support. We enjoyed majority Malay support in that particular elections. You see? So change can take place. But of course, we have to face many challenges. You talk about the fact that most of this contents of the ceramah is not being accessed by the public at large. Dan kerana itu, bila saya katakan bermulanya masa depan bila kita impikan sebuah kerajaan. Pertama sekali, saya nak kita kalau boleh jangan gunalah perkataan listen tu bahaya. We must ensure that we get a listening government. You know, instead of a government that tells us all the time, we need to listen to them. You know, for goodness sake, we should be ashamed to have a manifesto that not only was plagiarized from Keadilan dan Pakatan Rakyat, but 2 hours worth of prime-time television just to explain these pledges. But what's more important is, kerana itu saya katakan, kalau berbalik kepada sejarah, dulu rakyat Malaysia, masyarakat Melayu itu, we enjoy utusan Melayu yang tidak dimiliki oleh UMNO. It was not owned by UMNO at the time. And in the 60s, mind you, because some Home Minister keep saying, demonstrasi pakatan yang aja ni. Protes ni pakatan yang aja. Siapa yang cakap begitu tak baca sejarah. Kerana bukan saja masa menentang Malayan Union, semasa menentang usaha UMNO untuk ambil alih keputusan Melayu, sudah diadakan demonstrasi besar-besaran. Protes besar-besaran oleh wartawan, sidang editor, termasuk Said Zahari yang beroperasi di dalam utusan Melayu. So you can see after all those years, degenerated. Not only the quality. Saya cakap bagi pihak orang Melayu, saya keluar lebih banyak dalam Tina Kural dan Malaysia Ngamban dan makan osej pakai semua. Banding dengan utusan Malaysia. Kalau keluar tu dia ambil muka yang paling buruk. The worst angle, like doing this or doing that, you know, that will be appearing. And the worst thing is when you do have me on television, when my mouth is open, of course, the anchor will start saying, satu difitnah jahat oleh pimpinan Pakatan Rakyat, menyerang, memfitnah pimpinan Barisan Nasional yang dikasihi oleh rakyat Malaysia. Jadi, you must understand that is why in Parliament, I prepared a private member's bill to abolish the Printing Presses and Publications Act. This bill is ready. We just need a majority to approve it, baby. We just need a majority. And the worst thing is, saya alhamdulillah dapat juga saya sebut. Saya membuat undang-undang tersebut dengan kolaborasi kerjasama dengan kumpulan lawyer buruk. Walaupun namanya lawyer buruk, percayalah mereka ini benar-benar peguam. Nama aja. Kalau orang muda Gen Y, you know lah, want to be cool and all. So, lawyer buruk. Tapi maksudnya, tenaga, bakat itu merata di depan kita. You know, all we need to do is have the political will to implement these changes and ensure the democratic institutions are empowered and really act as they should. Satu, Okay? The other private members bill that I introduced, I have to say this because every single time, it's not easy. If you want to submit a private members bill, you must ensure that the bill is complete. Maksudnya satu undang-undang sudah kita sediakan. Walaupun kadang-kadang saya bercakap macam peguam, kadang-kadang lah saya bukan peguam. Saya engineer. I'm an engineer, is it? Well, yeah. So jadi, bila bercakap, kita dah siapkan satu lagi undang-undang. Ketika itu, undang-undang untuk apa? Undang-undang untuk meminda Akta Pembangunan Petroleum. Tahu kenapa? Kerana sejak petroleum itu, Petronas itu ditubuhkan, lebih 500 bilion ringgit, hampir 500 bilion ringgit dibelanjakan duit Petronas. Of course, you do not see the effects, especially in terms of the ranking of our universities. Perhaps you will think Putrajaya is a sight to behold and we can be thankful. But the issue is, kita buat pindaan. Saya perkenalkan undang-undang itu untuk memastikan Perdana Menteri tidak boleh, mana-mana Perdana Menteri, tidak boleh memutuskan penggunaan wang Petronas tanpa merujuk kepada Parlimen. The saddest thing which people don't really know is we do have a fund. It's called Kumpulan Wang Amanah Nasional. It's supposed to be a petroleum fund to ensure the next generation enjoys the funds for their education, etc. Now, Norway has a fund, the Norwegian Petroleum Fund, amounting to, I think, possibly more than 1 trillion. They hit the 1 trillion mark. Kita sekitar sesi terakhir saya di Parlimen itu hanya sekadar 500 juta ringgit. Because the Prime Minister is said that in one, he can use it. And most of it has been siphoned and used for Putrajaya Holdings. Mind you, every month 30 juta ringgit untuk menyelenggara bangunan tersebut. That is an important bill. Saya juga pastikan undang-undang untuk mengembalikan kuasa kehakiman, return judicial powers, so we can at least ensure judicial reviews are a reality. With regards to this, I must tell you guys, bagaimana perasaan saya, kita buat kerja, sukarelawan kita pergi memeriksa rumah ke rumah, sama ada PPR Kampung Limau, sama ada Sri Pahang, sama ada di Sri Pantai dan juga Putrajaya. You bayangkan, dah pergi, nak dapat sukarelawan bawah keadilan ni, orang takut. Dah pergi, kena tangkap kalau di Sri Pahang itu, dakwaan disyaki akan menculik anak-anak. I mean, I thought it would be difficult for people to buy this, but datanglah ketua balai, angkutlah mereka heret ke Balai Polis Cabas. Ini berlaku. Jadi setiap kali kita buat culaan untuk memastikan that particular address, there are people living there who are legitimate. That's all we want. You are legitimate, hang nak sokong lu, hang sokong lah. Daripada saya itu hak demokrasi masing-masing. Tapi kita minta semua kita kan. Tapi isunya, you see, so you have these people housed in these addresses. They don't live there. Kalau rumah bangsa India, 4 orang Cina daftar. Ya betul. Kalau rumah orang Melayu, kadang-kadang ada 10 warga India, berbangsa India yang daftarkan. Jadi bagaimana kita? Kita tidak ada pilihan, maka dengan kolaborasi dari Edmund Bond yang juga daripada lawyer buruk. Jadi kita pergi, kita jumpa hampir 5,000 nama-nama pengundi hantu dalam daftar pemilih Lembah Pantai. Kita saman SPR. Episod 1 happy lah kan? Episod 2 kita kurang gembira sikit lah. Okay? Dah hantar, dah file di mahkamah. Okay, diberi tarikh. Now, kita kena faham bila sebelum saya saman di mahkamah, saya tulis surat kepada pengurusi SPR nak bagi tahu tentang credibility SPR. Kita hantar surat, ditandatangani akwan penerimaan tidak lain tidak bukan oleh Setiausaha SPR. Dr. Kamarudin dah dapat job, dah. Can you imagine? Okay, we did all those things. What is the response of the chairman of the SPR? No? Nuriza didn't say anything? No. She didn't say anything. She didn't inform us. End of story. Jadi bagaimana kita, saya sebagai calon dalam pilihan raya, nak ada keyakinan kepada badan SPR. Nak kata tak buat, dah buat segala-galanya. Ya? Jadi masuk ke mahkamah seperti biasa. Section 9A, an unconstitutional section, mind you, of the Election Act was used to reject and quash my application. Nah, hadirin hadirat, dan saya nak ulang kenapa Section 9A ini diperkenalkan. Section 9A diperkenal apabila Barisan Nasional menang besar, dapat juga majoriti dalam tahun 1969. 1969 ada kes dikas. Dalam kes dikas, ya, ada petisyen pilihan raya kerana dalam senarai daftar pemilih ada 4,197 nama-nama mereka yang bukan warga negara. Bukan warga negara. Siapa cakap? Bukan Nur Izzah cakap. Hakim Mahkamah Tinggi yang mengaku there are non-citizens, 4,197 of them, and they voted for the recast elections. So the courts declared null and void. Kita pun gembira macam you all dah tepuk lah kan. Happy lah kan tiba-tiba episod kedua. Barisan Nasional perkenalkan Section 9A. Maka menjadikan ianya mustahil untuk mana-mana pihak mencabar daftar pemilih yang sudah digazet di mahkamah. So, ladies and gentlemen, power corrupts absolute. Power corrupts absolutely. Ya? Yang saya nak bagi tahu sekarang, kerana itu kita ada perubahan. Kerana itu kita minta bahawa wujudnya semangat untuk hadir bersih satu, bersih dua, bersih tiga, himpunan kebangkitan rakyat, because you do not have any avenue for the government of the day, the Barisan Nasional caretaker government, although they don't really understand the meaning of caretaker government. Mereka tak mendengar suara kita. Is it? So because of this, yes, this election is very close. But for all these changes to take place, we must ensure each one of you not only vote, but you must be a polling agent, counting agent, do what you can. I mean, this is so important because the process itself, the fact that we have almost 5,000 names unaccounted for, this is the most dangerous bit of Malaysia, in Malaysia, in our elections. Now, saya nak cakap juga, tentang pendidikan. Kenapa? Kerana saya fikir di Malaysia ini, one of the biggest tragedies is the fact that the education sector has been heavily politicized. I came from a government school. I went through my life, growing up in a government school. And sometimes I did want to ask my father, why did you send me to government school? But I think it's important kerana kita dapat merasakan isi pendidikan ini ruang yang terbaik untuk rakyat. Tak kira kalau ibu dan ayahnya mungkin miskin. You see, not everyone can choose their background. Some people are born poor. Jadi kalau masuk sekolah, sekurang-kurangnya kualiti sekolah itu yang terbaik di mana-mana. Makanya jurang pendapatan, jurang pendidikan itu dengan sendirinya dapat dirapatkan. You have a chance at a better life. And that's why in Malaysia, pendidikan bukan sekadar nak bagi rakyat ini menjadi robot. Mencintai negara menerusi latihan khidmat negara. Do you know dalam latihan khidmat negara ada dua kaji sedik. Satu tahun 2005, satu lagi tahun 2012. Saya baca semua kaji sedik. It's proven that the national service does not do much in terms of its curriculum to cultivate national unity. It does not even go far in improving and upholding moral righteousness amongst the students who participate. Ini tak kita tahu. Ini kalau saya tak baca, tak ada orang letakkan dalam media arus perdana, tak ada orang bawakan dalam parlimen. Can you imagine? I mean, you have your kids and I can't control if my kids have reached 18 years old. I cannot control if he or she is chosen to attend this program. And you leave your children in such a program that has seen 17 deaths since its introduction. Hardly any feedback, any sort of readiness for the government to review the curriculum, and even results that have shown they failed in many accounts. Jadi saya tidak ada masalah untuk mengadakan dan bersetuju dengan program mengeratkan hubungan antar kaum. Yes, of course. But you leave BTN to continue to fester. And I must tell you why people should really be angry. Because I came from a public university. Now the public universities in this country, we want it to be the best. Not only is it not among the top 300, but the worst thing is, you have people like Sharifah Zohra, and these programs are being replicated, mind you. This is our tertiary institution. Nak masuk universiti ni, kalau nak fikir macam satu lak diri. Bukan mudah nak masuk universiti, dah masuk. You tunjuk apa? Ada program khas, tunjuk gambar Datuk Ambiga ini, pengkhianat. This is an anarchist. You know? Lepas tu tunjuk gambar satu, gambar saya lah. Saya pun ikut juga. I spoke to who's that lady who was directed? Bhavani. So she told me, you know, the other picture that was shown actually before the berating of Bhavani was my picture. You see, my picture was there. Ini akan mengakibatkan huru-hara. You see, you cannot follow her. You know, you cannot follow her because she's a bad example to Malaysians, especially women. Okay, it's hard not to personalize this, but you know, this is a tragedy, really, in the fact that you have these programs destroying the minds of our young talents. So because of that, saya rujuk kepada apa yang berlaku di England. You see, don't be sad, don't be sad. There's always hope. In England, 1988, they suffered their worst track record in terms of education. They had a great debate depan dia, kerana pada ketika itu para guru dibenci. Para guru ni dari jawatan di England yang dirasakan sebagai jawatan yang tidak ada maruah, it's not respected. Tapi akhirnya ada satu kiranya debate perbahasan seluruh negara dilaksanakan, tapi mereka tak mahu libatkan ahli politik. The politicians were not allowed to participate in the great debate. And I think this is how we should tackle and view education in this country. You have 4 main reports. World Bank ada, McKinsey ada, United Nations ada. Bila minta daripada Datuk Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, dia kata, sometimes YB Lembah Pantai, when you ask for something, you get a no. That's the answer for me. You know, I have a daughter. I've registered her in the government school. I would really like an access. I want to gain access to those reports. So it's I feel comfortable and confident that the government is doing their best to improve the education sector. And what I get is a no. Sometimes you ask, you get yes. Sometimes you ask, you get a no. So yes, that's the level of our education minister. Education manager. So because of that, ladies and gentlemen, you know, the plans are there. The plans are there, and if you ask, how will we ensure that Pakatan Rakyat government will be different? Bagaimana kita boleh memastikan hak masyarakat India terjaga, hak masyarakat Melayu dan juga Cina, Kazan dan juga beberapa lain di Sabah dan Sarawak. Bagaimana kita boleh pastikan? Saya kata pastikan dalam 100 hari pertama dilaksanakan reformasi politik supaya setiap institusi itu haruslah berkhidmat untuk rakyat, bebas daripada genggaman kuasa mana-mana pihak. Selagi kita ada sistem, kita mungkin boleh tukar Gani Patel, you know, that non-performing Attorney General. Kita mungkin boleh tukar. Tapi selagi you have that position where he is not only the Attorney General, but he is also the advisor to the Prime Minister, nothing, ladies and gentlemen, will change. Jadi kerana itu saya katakan, dalam konteks ini, bukan itu saja janji kita untuk mereformasikan politik dalam negara kita. Pastikan SPRM, for goodness sake, what are you doing about Papa Gomo? You know, it sickens me. You know, this individual who has single-handedly destroyed so many people's reputations, not just about Anwar Ibrahim, it is about Sarbaini. Don't forget, dia boleh letakkan gambar Allah Yarham Sarbaini, katanya ni girlfriend dia. Dia ambil dari telefon arwah itu, telefon itu yang sepatutnya dijaga oleh pihak polis. Dan gambar itu ternyata kawan baik anaknya, anak perempuan. Because I met the family after that. Papa Gomo was responsible for this. Papa Gomo was responsible for tarnishing and of course vilifying Lim Guan Yin son. And until today, we've given his identity. We've given you his identification card, police background, the fact that he's been removed by the police force, semua dah check. Hanya tidak ada rule of law yang boleh diguna pakai untuk menangkap individu yang hina ini. Bukan itu saja, dijemput dijemput untuk hadir memeriksa kapal selam Malaysia yang tak boleh selam tu. Yeah, he was one of the invited guests inside the kapal selam, and you wonder, are we safe? You see, this is happening in front of our eyes, and these are the individuals protected because they are only going to defend and further UMNO Barisan Nasional Squad. Jadi peringatan buat diri saya dan semua. Bila kita inginkan keadilan, makanya untuk ahli UMNO dan pimpinan UMNO juga, keadilan harus kita tegakkan. I might not like what they've done, but I will always remind myself, never hate, never personalize. Because no matter what they do, whether it's politics of slander, violence, attack, etc., we must rise above. This is the rule we must be. This is the Malaysia we want to survive and save. So please, apapun pada pasukan keselamatan kita nak pukul, kita buat laporan polis, kita kerjasama, kita jaga diri kita. Kerana itu saya nak katakan, please don't be afraid. You know, when this political violence or the temperature has risen slightly, I will be there with you. I will be there with you. So I cannot do this alone. All I ask is, you know, sebelum kita menyambut sambutan, you know, tahun baru Tamil, saya minta, please, let us stand together, let us stand as one. Memendosha Icaran. Kita ini satu keluarga yang besar, dan jangan biar sesiapa pun menghancurkan agenda ini, because this is what they want. You know, if you have an incompetent home minister, then view him as incompetent and idiotic, but don't take him seriously. You see? So we must know what to do, we must understand our responsibilities, and ladies and gentlemen, please do not lose these elections, because by the time we get to the 14th GE, I don't think there's any more money left for Pakatan Rakyat to salvage. Oh, we are not miracle workers. We certainly need, you know, some of the government's coffers to implement some of the programs. You see, now for the Pakatan Rakyat states, yang kita laksana adalah when you, the magic word, open tender. You see, when you implement open tender, especially for government procurement projects, you definitely slash up to 25 to 30% of expenditure. Itu kita laksana di Selangor, Pulau Pinang dan negeri-negeri lain. Ya, bukti. Jadi dalam semua usaha, kalau kita untuk membelanjakan program-program kita, saya minta go review Rafizi Ramli's recording and explanation of this matter. But all I ask is one chance. Please, ladies and gentlemen, do not waste your vote. Go out every day, every time you can, every opportunity you get. Convince all your friends. Vote for the future, vote for change. And please, let's build a better Malaysia. Buat tanaman bersama dengan Seksan dan bersama Datuk Ambiga untuk pergi ke Lucky Garden Market. Ada ceramah malam esok di Bukit Kerinci. Tapi yang saya nak maklum, dia bagi sama sesiapa yang menerima, bukan voucher tapi leaflet, our clinic. Now our clinic Demi Rakyat has been operating since 2008, but this is a bigger and larger scale thanks to the help of friends and other doctors and experts.